Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. And I start this one off with a question. What exactly is wrong with this picture right here? Well, actually, nothing is wrong, but that's the good thing. Look, the bamboo forest has fully grown. Now, why would that be of significance? Well, our smelter tower over here actually has some redstone inside of it to turn off the flying machines that harvest all of the bamboo. And so I had spotted a simple flaw. When we set up this room right here, I forgot to leave a hole up the top here, and this allows bamboo to drop down and fill up. So I've had an AFK overnight session in this area just to make sure we're all stocked up on bamboo. Our smelters up top are full, and now these are as well. But there is a little bit of redstone here that actually stops the flying machines from activating. And you can see that right here. The mechanism that activates the flying machines is actually locked by this long line of repeaters right here, which comes all the way from that comparator. And so this is obviously a really good thing. I'm just not used to seeing this thing fully grown. Usually there are flying machines going back and forth, collecting all of the bamboo, but now we have a ridiculous stockpile of it, and our smelter should have smelted all of the items that were stuck in the system because of a lack of fuel. Yeah, look at this. I'm so glad we fixed it. Fuel for days. There is an unbelievable amount of chests here, and they're all filled up with bamboo. And hey, we never have to worry about fuel again, it would seem. And seeing all that smooth stone in the smelter reminded me it's been a while since I've stocked up the rock shop, so I collected a few diamonds and we've filled up these barrels with various materials. I also have 3 barrels to place over here, as I've got another 3 shulker boxes full of leaves. That brings us up to 15 of these, where we need like 50 to guarantee getting a jackpot. So it'll probably be some time before we actually do that. And so I've gone around and collected a small handful of profits and noticed that Mayor Scar has been busy at work proposing some road layouts over here. I think the pink wall is the one I'd be interested in, at least over here in front of our shops. As you can see, there's wool all over the place. And this, my friends, excites me very much. The renovation of this entire area is going to be a really amazing project, and I love seeing it in this stage right here. Before things get done, you can see the ideas coming together as roads are being proposed. And so I'm going to put my name forward for the pink road, and maybe even later on we'll be able to get our hands on that and start doing some building. But essentially it would be this road right here it would connect up to, and I'd love to do something with flowers on either side, make it nice and gorgeous, going through this area towards our shops, which look amazing over here. And yes, I know what you're concerned about. The turtle buddies will stay here. They'll get some sort of shrine saved from the road. Oh, there is one more thing to do in this area before we head out, because we're not going to work on this right now. I've got other plans for this episode, which, by the way, is making an entirely new mini-game, okay? Not the aquatic PvP arena. We're going to build something new from scratch. But first of all, we've had business over here at TBE, and I believe Iskau has also put up a bounties box right here. He's after oak log, dirt, stone, and andesite. And I happen to have all 4 of these, and am totally happy to help out. There we go. And I'll let him know in chat. I missed this. Apparently Iskau died a moment ago. Oh dear. And looking at our own bounties box, we've got polished blackstone, clay, chiseled nether bricks. This is awesome. Apparently I put andesite in here, and this actually came from my own collection. I was watching Etho's video, and I had andesite in here. So I'm not sure what the mix-up there was, but look at that. 28 diamonds. These things are selling. And look at that, 58 diamonds. We are making a mint today, and I'm thinking it's about time we just go and lug all of the blocks that I've got, sort them out, bring them over here, and pretty much put everything on sale. And what I mean by that is sort out all of the mess that was a bunch of shulker boxes over here, the barrels across the bottom and the ones up the side. They were just all full of random disorganized mob heads. And now they neatly fit into all of these shulker boxes. You can see that we got the hermit heads in there. I put the different colors of concrete into this one. And then the rest of these are sort of sorted alphabetically, like A, B, C, and then this one is D, E, F, and G and H are in here, I believe, going all the way down the alphabet. One thing you might notice is that we tend to accumulate a lot of particular types over others, like these. And I do have a few mob heads left behind, like the old textures and random ones that have been placed and picked back up again. So I'm going to keep those. I'm also going to go through here and just keep aside a couple of each different type for myself. And then the rest of all of these will become for sale. And we also have a large collection of mob heads. So I'm going to shift a load of these along, again leaving a couple behind for myself. But in here, evidence of our crimes against the wandering trader. Look at how many of these I've collected. And that's it. It all fits into this space, which is real nice. And I've kept the same organization as the shulker boxes. So when we do make some new trades, I can simply come over here and put them into the correct spot. So there shouldn't be any messiness with all of this again. And so back here at the block exchange, we're going to provide all of those mob heads we've just sorted to the other hermits. And we're actually going to do it by renovating this place here. I'm going to be stripping out the entire of this front section. And of course I'll move Iscal's and Etho's trades into the central area. So since less people are using it, we're just going to have this center space here for other trades. And then all of these mini blocks that I brought with me that we're going to provide to the other hermits, they can go over here at the back of the room. And so the renovation is complete, and it's fantastic in here now that everything is much more open. There's plenty of space for some additional trades, and the ones that are currently active you can get to right here in the middle of the room. And then around the back, the way the mini block heads are lit up, and we've got one on top of each, really draws your attention to it. And yeah, it just looks fantastic in here. And let me tell you this, I'm getting seriously inspired for the road that will go out the front of our shops over here. I'm starting to muster up some really interesting ideas. And I also learned that this is actually a competition. As we come back over here to the communal area, you'll see that there is the Great Hermit Road Building Competition. You can actually pick a road in the area to renovate. And so Scar left some instructions and stuff right here. If you want to pause the pages and read, go right ahead. I am not going to sign up straight away though, but I am definitely considering it. This episode, my friends, we must stay on track. We're going to be building a mini game, and it's going to involve the target block. And look at that. Got a hay bale mini block over here. I love it every time we add one of these. And I've got a stack of hay bales. And we're going to craft them into target blocks. And then head out of here. I absolutely love this little system. And if you're wondering where I got all the wheat to make those hay bales from, well, the answer's kind of right in front of you. And it's kind of all around us as well. Kratos has gone mad with the hay bales over here. Of course, he's got this beautiful area with the villagers farming all sorts of different crops. And I think he's got like minecarts that go underneath and then shuffle them on into these chests, which are absolutely loaded full of wheat and other drops. So he said I could come over here and pinch some, which I did. And that, my friends, is how we made the target block. I've also prepared a bunch of redstone supplies. So we got pistons, repeaters, comparators, and hoppers stocked up. And we've also got all of these materials here for aesthetics. So before we head over to the Netherlands, as it's kind of being called, we're going to go into a redstone testing world and create a little contraption that will make this game possible. So the idea is simple. You've got to shoot at the target block and hit it with a relative amount of accuracy, and then it's going to shut off that target from being shot again. The catch is that someone else on the other team can do the exact same thing. So our contraption will have two sides, which two teams will interact with, but the team that shoots the target block first is going to lock both of these and earn a point for their side. And so you could be shooting at a target block and then all of a sudden it's locked by the other team. So in order to do this, we're going to want something like so. When the comparator gets powered, it's also going to activate a dropper, which can simply put an item into a water stream and carry it off to the points collection area. It's also going to set off this piston, and then from there what we can do is run a signal out to both sets of sticky pistons. So let's see what happens when we shoot the one on this side. You can see an item got shot out of that dispenser, but not the one on the opposite side, and both of these got locked up the top here. Now you could argue that both teams could shoot at the exact same time, and that's something unfortunate we might have to deal with. However, it could be that they hit both target blocks at the same time, in which case I'd be fine with both teams picking up a point. Actually, yeah, that's pretty much a perfect solution to that problem. So from here, our module is going to need a master reset. So that's simply going to be a wire that goes on the top, and we don't have to worry about timing or anything like that. As long as a signal gets out here, it resets the game for the next round. And I've just realised I've kind of built this wrong. I actually want it to be flush with the wall, like so. Just feels to me like the target is going to be a lot easier to hit from different angles if it's open like this. And a quick test, when we shoot this here, the arrow kind of gets pushed off, and because the comparator is not on, I believe it's no longer touching that target block. So if you were to play games quickly and consecutively, this is no longer interfering. Now down the bottom here where the droppers are, this space is simply going to be for a water stream, so we will have some sort of contained water to carry that item to the collection area like I already mentioned. And there's just one more thing that I want to add to make this a little bit more challenging. We are going to add some subtracting comparators, and this means that you have to be more accurate with your shot. So now when you take a shot and you hit the edges around here, you can see it's not activating it. I believe you have to get inside of this red area, or maybe on the red. Okay, now let's go inside. Yeah, and then that's enough. So your shots do have to be relatively accurate. And we could even make it harder by putting more items into these hoppers, because these comparators are in subtract mode. So your shot has to be more accurate. So now it's time to think about the bigger picture. And by that, what I mean is the arena in which the players will play. So it's going to obviously be split into 2 lanes, and then our targets, these modules right here, are going to be built across from one side all the way to the other. And this means that the teams then have to race from the start to the end and try and hit off as many of these for the other team as they can. And that will lead to all sorts of strategy, like do you rush the ones at the end or do you go for the ones at the beginning? And there's going to be obstacles down here in the arena as well. Yeah, let's not get too deep into this. Let's start building it on Hermitcraft. So let's talk location, and obviously we're going to be in the Netherlands, and yes, there are 2 games that have popped up alongside our own. We'll talk about that later on. But in terms of the specific spot I'm going to build, it'll be this end of the island over here. This thing is potentially going to be massive. I spoke to Tango and Efo, and they basically said if you want to build something really big, go to where the grass is. So this is going to be our spot. Oh, look at me, I successfully killed a parrot. And I also cleared a mountain. And in the process, I filled up a whole bunch of chests. Yeah, I've been busy. And I have cleared out so much space over here, I'm starting to think it's go big or go home. There's a lot of space to make this into a rather big game. And the concept that I've come up with, I think it scales in that direction. So we're probably going to use a lot of this space. You ready to see it? It's gonna be a big old game taking up all of this space right here, and if you count them, there are 8 of these in total. That's actually gonna tie into the name of the game in a kind of obscure way. I'll explain more about that once we build the second row. So these ones are nice and orderly, and now I'm gonna put another 5 up top, and they're gonna be a bit more randomly spaced apart from one another. And I kind of wish I'd made the distances even and equal, but you know, I think it's good to resist that sometimes because often it can weigh you down, especially when you go and rebuild something just because it's off by a few blocks. So we're embracing a slightly disorderly second row of these targets. There are 3 steps to be undertaken in order to make this game technically playable, and the first one of those is now in place. They are water streams. We got water streams going all the way across the bottom, and sometimes we got them up top to move the items over so they can fall down. And these are the items that of course come from the dispensers that are activated by these modules. The second part is redstone to reset all of these, and you can see the lines clearly from back here. We can actually give this a bit of a test well, so if I shoot a couple of these targets and then I've set up another one over there to reset it, there you go, look at that. All of them have been reset. Note to self, we shouldn't allow fire arrows in this game. That's kind of distorting the target. Part 3, well, you can't even see this change from back here. Hoppers have been filled with minecarts for the signal strength, and droppers have been filled with items to score points. So if I take a shot here, take a shot there, we get some points out the end here. There you go, 2 points, and then we can reset the whole thing again. We still have a long way to go with this game, and I think the best is yet to come. But let's talk about the name of this game for a moment. At some point or another, the idea of 7-11 popped into my head. 11 targets across the bottom, 7 across the top, and then coming over here to check out the size of this thing, I realised that was too much. So then I boiled it down to 9 to 5, like, you know, you're working 9 to 5. But then that creates 14 in total, and I realised what we need is an odd number, because with 14 you could potentially have a draw. So now we have 8 to 5 targets, and 8 to 5 doesn't sound catchy or anything like that, but when we add them together we have 13 targets. So I thought we could call this thing U13 or Unlucky 13, because a lot of people think 13 is an unlucky number, so that could be a cool theming for this thing. And also it would be a number low enough that we can actually use a comparator to add up that entire score. So we could have a redstone lamp system that lights up based on how many points each team has. And it will look something like this. However, this is one module, and we need to build a parallel module for the other team. And then we also need to create parallel lines of redstone to light up the lamps so you can see both teams score on either side. But the main thing to understand is what's going on here. We want to detect items coming through our system when a team scores a point. It makes its way into that hopper, and each time that happens you can see the lamps are going to go up by 1. And that is because of this little magical circuit, which we can actually reset right here. And when we reset it, you can see that this one has full signal strength, the one on the other side doesn't. So the redstone you see going across the top here, what it does is it moves an item across from this dropper to that one, and then back again, just enough for the signal strength here to increase by 1. So let's go ahead, throw another item into here, and then when we come back over here, you can see the signal strength has increased. And it would essentially look something like this. We basically mirror the circuits, and then we pull off the signal on one side and bring it round to the other. We do the same on the other. And there might be a neater, tidier way to do that, I'm not sure. But now let's simulate scoring a few points. I probably actually shouldn't throw them in so quickly. So you can see they're going up on this side, and a little bit later they'll go up on that side. Excellent, so they're both the same score. 2 on this one, 2 on that one. Brilliant. There you go. It works. My friends, we have been visited, and it takes a fair bit of time to do some trading with this guy. And you know what? I might grow tired of it soon, but this time we got the Gilded Blackstone. I don't think we've got on this one before. However, the rest of these, they're pretty much all going to go over to the TBE, which we renovated earlier in this episode. But anyway, if we just step back and take a look up, you can see that we've got the system in place. There's a couple more bits to do. I also want to hook it up to this thing right here. So we've got a master reset system for both of those systems together. And we've got to put some finishing touches on these lamps. So as it now stands with these additions to the redstone, this game I think is like finished and technically playable, but of course we've got to build an arena here in the future for the players to play their way through. So this, you might guess, is a water elevator to take items up into our redstone lamp system, and I've added something very important here. It's a hopper that picks up the items and puts them into a dropper to be shot into that water stream. So we have to detect that the items are inside of there and then power this thing. You'll notice the repeaters here are actually set to 4 ticks so that it's slow, and that's so if 2 items arrive at the same time, it will actually send them up with a little bit of delay between each one, so then it can't break the circuit up the top here. And then there is this line of redstone torches. At the bottom of it is a button, and what that does is it resets everything. So it resets our redstone lamps, and it also sends a signal into here to reset all of these. So let's give this thing a test. We're going to score 1 point for this team, 2 points for this team. Here on the other side, you can see that those have been blocked, so we'll also get an additional point. By the way, the thing up there is updated. The only thing I will say about it is it's a little bit slow. The items have to travel through the water, then go up the water stream, then all the redstone's got to happen. And did you see that item pop up in the sky up there? That was a very good spot because, as you can see, I thought ahead and put slabs here, but then I forgot to come over and replace them. So slightly flawed test, but we can confirm this system works. Our lamps are going to need some team colours to tell you who's who. And so what better colours than these two right here from the new nether blocks? So cyan and red are going to be our team colours, and I'm going to come over here and pick up some logs. Also, this new shop has popped up, and Jevin was asking me where he could get some sponge heads, so I think we made some sales over at the TBE, and this place is not selling pumpkins, it's selling sponges. And do you know what? I think I'm just going to stock up on a couple of extra here. So they're 8 for a diamond block. I'm going to buy 2 of those. And of course over here we get to add our Gilded Blackstone to the options. I'm going to put it in this chest over here though, simply because this one has kind of filled up. And talk about profits, I need to know what's sold out over here so I can restock it, right? Although I guess that's all I've got actually, isn't it? we have absolutely made tons of sales over here. Over a stack. And checking through the rest of it, that's everything. So anyway, I've got a whole bunch more of these to unload into those chests. And over here in my bounties box, I guess I don't need this anymore, so I'll be taking that back. So with our little trip to the shopping district done, let's get back to the games area. If you've got a keen memory, you might remember I said logs. Well, Tango was out and I thought, actually, these blocks will do. And so now we've got our team colours in place, and while they're playing in the arena, they're going to be able to look up and see what the current score is. And if I hadn't made it clear already, I think the arena is where the game is going to be made. And that's cool because if we build an arena that sucks, we can tear it down and build it again. But this right here is the foundations for what I think will be a fantastic team v team competition and an absolute mega game here on the Hermitcraft server. I'm starting to think that this might just be the season of the games, you know. We've got a couple more popping up behind us. We've got the Netherlands. Tango Tech is making Decked Out, which is going to be an extraordinary game. And I've just noticed a load more detailing has been done around there. That's really cool. We, of course, are juggling the creation of 2 games at once. We've built Standoff already. I plan on building Standoff 2 as well. And I've got an update on the tournament for you as well. In the semi-final, Joe Hills has beaten Impulse, which means Joe is going to be in the final round of the tournament. And yes, I'm tearing this down because, well, it's no longer needed at this point. And I know previously I said I wouldn't do this, but I wanted to use the banners, and I wanted this thing to have a sign here at the entrance, so it says what it is. Now I've fallen down. So sometimes I think it's cool to be creative and get away from just using the name on some banners, but then again it was kind of the best option for this, and it clearly shows you where the entrance is. So in this episode of Hermitcraft, we've done some much needed organisation of our mini blocks inside of our storage area, which has turned into profits. I fixed this system over here so our smelter is fully operational around the clock, and I also chucked a whole bunch of stone in there, and look at that, all of it has been smelted up. And of course we've done an absolute ton of progress on getting a new game up and running, and yes, I am juggling it alongside the aquatic PvP underwater arena idea that we got going on over here, and I have done some work on that actually, but I think I'm going to show you when we're ready to work on that project again. So this is it from me this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like if you did, and I'll be seeing you very soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. So ciao for now, bye bye.